Hello everybody, Rox here. Thanks again for tuning into my channel. Today we have another review for you. We're going to be going over something that I've been looking forward to for a little while now. It's a low-cost SMG. This is going to be the UTR 45 by Double Eagle. Now, a little bit of backstory on the UTR 45. This is loosely based on the LWRC SMG 45. It's mostly used in the civilian market down in the States. And Double Eagle decided to make an airsoft version, so that's what we have here. One of the things that intrigued me a lot about the UTR 45 is its price point. Now, I was able to pick this thing up for around 150 USD, which is very cheap. I mean, the only other thing I can think of that compares to that would be a G&G Raider, which is widely known as one of the better starting rifles out there. But this offers something else, and for 150 USD, I didn't really know what to expect, but as soon as I pulled it out of the box, I was immediately surprised, and in a good way. I've seen some other reviews on it online, and everyone else had a lot of good things to say about it, but until I actually got into my hands, I wasn't sure, and yeah, it feels really cool. The first thing I noticed is that it is built out of a very, very nice quality polymer. There's no metal on the externals on this gun, unfortunately, so if you're looking for something metal, yeah, you're gonna have to go a little more expensive, but a very, very nice quality polymer. Nothing really creaks, nothing really feels bad. Now, who's to say, like, over time, that's not gonna break in a little bit and maybe start to feel a little loose, but I mean, for the time being, right out of the box, it feels really good. I believe it feels very similar to G&G. If you've ever held any of G&G's like higher end polymer guns like the ARP, that's kind of the vibe that I get from this thing. Now, sticking with the externals, we're going to start at the end, make our way to the back. On the end here, you have your American federally regulated orange tip. As I live in Canada, I can take this off, and I'm always finding ways to take it off because, you know, replacing it with your own muzzle device is kind of cool. Conveniently, what I noticed is that it was held in place simply by an Allen key, and the glue was not very strong, so it is very easy to simply remove it. It is threaded in your counterclockwise 14mm negative. So with that, pops right off. Easy peasy. Some manufacturers make taking the orange flashlight off very difficult, as you know, down in the States is something you are supposed to leave on. That's very nice. I'm really happy with the fact that it came off very easily. The outer barrel feels like it is actually made out of metal, noticing that now, which is very nice. Sometimes on guns in this price point, the outer barrel will be plastic, and you find that the threading will wear down very quickly if you're taking it on and replacing it with flash hiders, which is a metal one. Easy peasy. Moving to the handguard. The handguard is, again, same polymer as the rest of it. Feels very nice. It is M-LOK compatible. I like M-LOK a little more than Keybond. A little stronger, a little more customizable. I think it looks a little slicker. Very nice that they decided to go with M-LOK as opposed to something else. Moving over to this side, we have your charging handle. Now, something with this gun that I thought was very nice was that the charging handle was it came separate from the gun. It wasn't attached. Now, it is an ambidextrous charging handle solution, and it allowed you to easily install it on whichever side you wanted. I'm right-handed. I'm going to be operating the charging handle with my left hand, so it was easy enough to pop it in place, and it just worked. So having it separate and letting you choose right from the beginning without having to go taking things apart and switching that was very good. All I had to do was slide it in place, popped in, and it was good to go. Continuing on talking about the charging handle and stuff like that, the gun does have a bolt hold open, which is nice. It doesn't function, it is just an AEG. The electronics aren't too crazy, but it holds open to expose the hop up when you pull the charging handle back, and you can drop it in place with an ambidextrous bolt release paddle. So, talking about the hop up, first thing you notice here is that it is a rotary style hop-up, which is very nice. Most airsoft manufacturers have gotten away from the standard like wheel one, and now you have a TDC rotary hop. I think this is very good. As I mentioned, it has no problems hopping 2.5s, which is perfect for CQB. I suspect you'd be okay with 3s as well. Now, moving down a little bit farther, it has this very nice American flag embossed on the side here. This is the higher FPS American version. Cool, I guess, you know, cool, go America, all that stuff. I think the other versions of this gun have this blank. It doesn't really matter, minor touch, no biggie. Moving on to your controls here. Your fire selector switch, this is your AR-15 pattern fire selector, very nice. Some of the other options in like your 45 caliber style, they don't have AR-15 pattern controls. Your UMP has a HK style control, so if you're used to a AR-15, you're gonna like that. Feels really good. Along the top here, you have a monolithic upper rail. This is built into the upper receiver, so you can't switch it, say it wears down or something. Not really a big deal. I mean, for the price point, again, gonna emphasize that it is very good. You have two iron sights along the top, pretty simplistic. I mean, with airsoft, iron sights aren't necessarily the most important thing, so it doesn't really matter. However, they do feel nice, and leaving them on there, they're gonna look good, so I'd suggest keeping them. One of the interesting things about this gun is the stock. Now, it has a kind of ACR, maybe like SCAR style stock, and it's made of the same polymer as the rest of the gun. Feels really nice to move it back and forth. Looks pretty cool. It has adjustable cheek, which is something you don't see in a lot of guns. It's got about, I'd say, like 5 different positions, so not super crazy, but still pretty good. And inside the stock is where your battery compartment is. Changing your battery is very easy. You're gonna pull your stock all the way out, and then on this side, you're gonna see a little paddle. You push that paddle in, and the whole stock comes off to expose your battery compartment. One thing that is very cool about this gun is the battery compartment is fairly big, and it is wired to Deans. Now, not many guns stock out of the box come wired to Deans. Most people, myself included, are going to be switching our guns and our batteries to this T-plug connector, Deans, as it's known, and to provide a little better connection, and to see manufacturers understanding that that's what the market wants is very nice. Continuing on to talk about the batteries, inside the box with the gun came this little package, and this little package I was pleasantly surprised to see that it came with 2 little components. Now this is a blank Deans plug for your battery. So if you have a battery that does not have a Deans plug that's using Mini Tamiya, it has instructions and all the necessary supplies aside from the soldering kit to convert your battery over to Deans. I think this is an awesome little touch and something I was pleasantly surprised to see. Like, no other company does this, even the high-end ones. Like, as I said, this gun was $150 US, and it has little quality of life improvements like that. Like, that's awesome. If for whatever reason you don't want to convert your battery, it also came with just a straight conversion connector, so you can still plug your battery in if you're not comfortable soldering. Like, I don't know how they can do this and other companies can't. Like, this is such an awesome thing. If anyone else is listening to this who makes airsoft guns, like, take a note from Double Eagle's book and understand that this is awesome and this is what we want to see. Moving on to the magazines. Now, this gun comes with one singular mid cap. There's no high caps for this. One thing that is a little unfortunate is that this is not compatible with other UMP magazines, so your G&G or your VFC, actually, pardon me on that, I don't think VFC makes an AEG, but your G&G is going to be your most common other option for UMPs. Double Eagle makes their own magazines, and Double Eagle does make a UMP, and these work with that, but it is proprietary to Double Eagle itself. If you're not used to UMPs at all, these magazines are huge. They don't fit in your standard SMG pouches. They really only fit, say, for example, here, like this is an AR-15 magazine pouch, and it's pretty, it fills it up pretty good. You wouldn't want to go any smaller than that, I'd think. You could also maybe fit this in a P90 magazine pouch, which is really long and really thin, but it can be kind of hard to draw it out as their P90 magazines are a little deeper. In terms of fitment, I've had no issues. It fits in, your mag release is very similar to a UMP. Paddle here. Now, from my understanding is that there is a version of this gun that comes with rail panels in the box, as well as an extended paddle magazine release. It costs a little more, but I think for the features, for those features, how much it costs, I think Evike was selling it for $280, so like almost double the price just for a little. I don't think it's necessary. If you're used to SMGs, you understand that SMGs have different reload styles, so it's not something that's too difficult to get used to. You just have to practice, as with anything. So, moving on to the gun's operation itself. I've installed a 11.1 LiPo battery into the stock here, and when you first plug it in, you're going to hear a couple beeps. This has Double Eagle's new, I think it's called the Falcon Mosfet system. This allows for a little bit of programming, so you can change it from your standard safe, single, full. You can change it to a burst or a semi-only. A few other things. The programming is fairly simplistic. You're just going to be holding down the trigger while it's in safe, and it's going to beep, and it's going to give you can change it to what you want. Inside the box is the instructions on how to do that. But for now, we're going to leave it into semi. In terms of how the gun feels when you fire it, I've tested a little bit. It had no problem hopping 2 5s. I'm assuming you can hop 3s, but I'm mostly going to be using this thing for CQB, and 2 5s are more than enough. So, pulling the trigger here. It's got a snap. I mean, I'd say the RPS, just by listening to it, that would be, just around 20. I'll test it in the chronograph later, but for out of the box, it feels totally fine. You can tell that it is Mosfet controlled. It had no issues cycling with the 11.1. You could probably run a 7.4 in here if you wanted to slow it down a little bit, but I don't think that's necessary. I think this gun is perfectly fine on your 11.1 LiPo. So, all in all, the UTR 45. Straight out of the box, this gun is really, really nice. I am happy with how much I paid for it. I am happy with how it performs. I am happy with basically everything about it, from the quality of life improvements to just the way it feels. And the operation, it sounds nice when you shoot it. Maybe a little screechy, but that's any gun out of the box is going to sound like that. A little bit of a shimming job will make it operate just a little bit better. But I think for how much you pay for it and how it performs, I think that this is the best SMG entry-level gun you could buy on the market right now. Double Eagle, if you're listening, you knocked it out of the park with this thing. Anyone who is looking for a cheap gun that's just going to work and it's easy to fix, if something does break, it's a version 2 gearbox, everything's all there, you're going to be happy with this thing. If your friend comes up to you and says, hey man, I want to buy a new gun, I'm just getting into airsoft and I don't want to buy an AR-15, point them to this thing. They will be happy, they will like it, and yeah, that's all I got for you. This is the UTR 45. Again, if you like what I do, please consider liking, subscribing, doing all the usual YouTube stuff. I'm going to plug my TikTok here. That's the name, True Rocks. Go check it out. I post lots of clips, little clips there. Pretty fun. If you don't like TikTok, I also have a shorts channel where I post the same stuff on TikTok, but it's here on YouTube. So that's there as well. It's called Rocks Shorts. And again, thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.